This is The American on ESPN+. Two different worlds collide for the very first time today in sunny Philadelphia. More than 2,000 miles from the towering Wasatch Mountains, Utah State has arrived in the city of brotherly love. The Aggies and the Owls getting ready to clash for the very first time. The Mountain West and the American Conference on a gorgeous Saturday. And a pleasant good afternoon. Sean Kinney alongside Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks. Great to have you with us. I'll tell you what, Barrett, these two teams are still searching for their identity. You talk to the two coaching staffs, they say they are close, but the inconsistencies has really put an urgency on this game.
You really hit it there. Inconsistency. Both teams make too many penalties, too many mistakes. They have to make sure they play fundamental football. Too many turnovers, whether it be picks, fumbles. They're not good enough at this point to really have that identity of being a team that can come back from that. So they really need to base everything on basic fundamentals.
This fast-paced Utah State offense, normally predicated with their passing game, showed they can run against anybody last week. In particular, Utah. Rasul Faison topped the 100-yard mark, and that's something you don't do against the Utes too often.
Absolutely. Faison's a great back. In fact, he's a local kid. He went by way of going around the corner just to get to Utah State. But I tell you what, he's explosive, showing the ability to run guys over, great balance. I'm looking forward to see him go against one of the better linebackers that he'll see this year. Woodbury from Temple, he is everything that you want from a guy who can go out there and consistently hunt down and hunt in this game. Woodbury plays the middle linebacker position, so that's going to be a key matchup. Woodbury versus Faison. I can't wait to see how these guys go out there and really compete against each other.
There is the third-year coach with Temple and Stan Drayton trying to get this program its first win of this young season. 6-21, confident coming into this week with improvement from week 1 through week 3. They got off to such a bad start last week with Coastal Carolina. They battled back in the second half, made it a one-possession game late. On the other sideline for Utah State, it's the youngest coach at the FBS level, Nate Dreiling. What an offseason. He was brought in last January to serve as the defensive coordinator. Then he was promoted to head coach, interim head coach, on July 2nd. His Aggies 1-2, a brutal non-conference schedule, back-to-back weeks with USC and Utah. Temple won the toss, they deferred, so it will be Utah State in the white to get the football first and out past the 20 up to the 22-yard line. And this Aggie offense getting ready to go to work, and Spencer Petras is back. A transfer from Iowa who was knocked out in the opening week in the win against Robert Morris. He's played a lot of football, his 33rd career start, put up good numbers in Iowa City. Missed all of last year rehabbing a shoulder injury, and now has found a new home in Logan. From the 19 is where they're going to start. Petras to the air quickly, and it is Kyrese White pushed out of bounds. Minimal gain.
That's what you need, just to get him started off right. He hadn't played a lot of football, but just give him a little quick pass, get him going, especially with this fast-paced offense for this Aggies team.
The tight end Brock Lane in motion. Penetration early. You see some of the footwork there from Faison. So he scrambles ahead for a yard, a flag down. So we take a look at today's players to watch, brought to you by Regions Bank.
Well, you look at it, Jalen Royals, a guy can go out there and take the top off this defense. They look to him to get those quick yardage, get the ball to him, and he explodes as far as athletic talent getting around those DBs.
One of the four players in the backfield. Offense. Penalties decline. They're down.
So Temple will take the into-play result, which was nothing for Utah State. And the Aggies forced with a 3rd and long. Temple defense coming into today without a takeaway. Free play, Petras uncorks, far side, pass caught. It's Jalen Royals with the first down grab up to the 36-yard line as you saw the Owls come into the neutral zone.
Offside. Defensive end. Defense. Penalties decline. Zone of play. First down.
Utah State really want to make sure they maximize their play potential every single drive as fast as they can to keep this Temple offense out of sorts.
Faison will get his second touch. Hole opens up as he is tripped up near the 40-yard line, brought down on the play by Taekwon King. You look at this Temple defense today, no Eric Stewart. They're weak side linebackers, so King jumps into that spot. In a 3 on first down, and again it is Faison busting it to the outside and into the secondary, plus territory for Rasul Faison, and Utah State cooking on this opening drive.
Yeah, it's a simple play. They just run outside zone. You pick your point, one-step cut, and Faison is getting out into the open. When you're having your safeties make a lot of tackles, I mean, this running game is looking pretty good for them.
18 yards on the carry, and they will stay with the hot hand right up the middle. And again, good yardage brought down by Demuric Morris, but Utah State will take that all afternoon.
I tell you what, Sean, he has over 50 people here, his hometown, here at the game. Very talented running back.
Grew up in nearby Pottstown, PA. And they are sticking with the hot hand, and you just see he will not go down on initial contact, and that's something we noticed watching the film, his yards after contact last week against Utah.
Yak, he's carrying guys with him, but his decision-making where he runs the ball is what makes him special. They really have to make sure that he gap sound on the defensive side of the ball, because he can take it in, read the blocks, and then kick it outside if need be.
See Utah State not substituting. That prevents Temple from getting fresh bodies out on the field. That's one of the challenges you have when you face Kyle Cephalo and this very fast offense from Logan. 5 carries on this opening drive for Faison, make it 6, and he's about 40 yards inside the 20. Helmet gets ripped off, and it's all about the power game right now, this offensive line, and Rasul Faison.
Watch a stretch play. Get your big guys on the outside, and you just pick a hole and run through it. Faison is really in sync with what this offense is trying to do. They're trying to get him to the outside, away from all the defenders on the inside, and he has enough speed to take it outside on the play.
Late flag thrown, and it's going to be on Utah State.
They're hailing off on a defensive player.
So the holding call for the Aggies, and this will wipe out the long run, negate the run by Faison, and push it back to the 40.
And that's kind of what we talked about in the open. They have to play more discipline, both sides, Temple and Utah State.
See the wide split by the wide receivers. They go empty set. Hershey Turner into the game for the first time. Petrus a bit offline, little hitch route for Kyrese White, second and long.
Petrus has perfect size, 6'5", 230 pounds, has a strong arm. He came in as the starter in the spring, started all through camp, but then the first game he gets hurt in the second quarter.
Yeah, he's really only played 2 quarters of football over the last couple of years with the injuries to close out his Iowa career. 2 yards for Turner. Good job there by DJ Woodbury, coming off a career-high 15 tackle performance last week.
I had the privilege of calling that game last week for Woodbury. I tell you what, he was everywhere on the field, pass coverage, supporting the run. He's a major player for this Temple defense.
3rd and long, Petrus flushed, rolling right, being pursued, and he's just forced to throw it away. He heard the footsteps, did not have time to pick and choose.
The Owl defense steps up on this play. I love the way they played this. Everybody played gap discipline, but they ran a screen play, and if you watch, they retract, the defensive line retract, and saw the running back sitting there. Linebacker came and tackled him, which alleviated the play. Petrus had to throw the ball out of bounds. Great win by this Temple defense.
Be a long field goal for Elliot Nimrod, but Nate Dreiling says let's play the field position game early, so he's brought Ryan Marks out, and this punt inside the 5. Excellent job by Utah State. Perfection with their execution. Marks just his 2nd punt of the year, and it's down at the 1, 36 yards.
Great play. I mean, he went out, he got in behind the ball, and you taught as a gunner to look and see where the ball's going to land and turn around and make yourself available to stop the ball from going into the end zone. Great play. Hey, I tell you what, this offensive Temple has to take it the long way, 99 yards.
Well, questions coming in. Would it be Forrest Brock? Would it be Evan Simon for the second straight week? It is the transfer from Rutgers. Simon making his 4th career start. He started a pair of games back in 2022 for the Scarlet Knights. Played well in the second half last week. So here he is in a precarious spot from the 1, and they'll just try to get a little breathing room as he jumps on the back of his center, Grayson Maines, gets a yard or 2.
Yeah, he's one of their better offensive linemen. Get in behind the big fella. You know, it's not the tush push that the Eagles made famous, but it is, you know, a QB sneak, trying to give themselves a little breathing room to get out of the end zone before they snap the ball.
Simon at times last week looked really sharp. Couple of touchdown passes against Coastal, had the interception early in the game. Jones in motion. Give up the middle to Antoine Littleton, and minimal gain as we take a look at today's players to watch, brought to you by Regions Bank.
I'll tell you what, Clyde Washington is a guy who can run sideline to sideline, an intense player at that linebacker position. But I tell you what, John Adams, big play threat all last week, had some big plays for this Temple offense. They looked to him to go out there and really stretch the field for this offense.
Let's see how aggressively Temple will play it here. 3rd down and 8. Utah State runs a stunt. Simon will throw, and nobody home. Della Pesca, the tight end, the closest receiver, and a 3-and-out. So the early decision by Nate Dreiling pays off. Instead of the long field goal, he trusts his punter, trusts his defense, and he's going to get the football back in good shape.
Yeah, you flipped the field, virtually flipped the field. So, you know, that's a great decision by him. Now they have a short field going in. I'm anxious to see how this Temple defense reacts to this.
The Australian Dante Atten with his heels on the back of the end zone. Junior college transfer Robert Freeman awaiting this kick. Rugby style, a bouncing ball, a little bit of a knuckler. Freeman will pick up, and he is tracked down right there.
Great tackle by Powell on that play. Great tackle. Goes out, and the pump was great.
Each team has had it once. Utah State, good starting position when we come back to Philadelphia. It's been a meteoric rise for 33-year-old Nate Dreiling. A little more than 10 years ago, he was playing linebacker for his father, Randy, at Hutchinson High School in Kansas. Went on to become a 4-time All-American at Pittsburgh State. Led the Gorillas to a 2011 national championship. Spent the last 2 years really getting things turned around at New Mexico State on the defensive side of the football for Jerry Kill. And now here he is, brought on originally back in January as the defensive coordinator by Blake Anderson, but with what transpired in that situation, Utah State named him the interim, and the players seem to be responding well.
Well, I mean, he has a team that's going out there and competing, and you know, they're really grasping what he's trying to coach and setting his own way of doing things here at Utah State.
We talked to him last night at the meetings, and obviously his expertise on the defensive side of the football, and he kind of joked. He said, the one time I got involved in the offense was the USC game where I told him to slow it down, and that backfired. So he said, I'm all out of the offense. It's all with Kyle Cephalo, and he'll let him handle it. Pass over the middle, and there's that arm strength from Petrus as he threaded the needle, and a 1st down catch.
Yeah, I mean, he is out there right now going to work. You know, he's been targeted, what, 4 or 5 times in the 1st and 2nd drive, and he's going out there and giving some results. They're one-on-one on the outside because they have to keep somebody in the box to stop this run by Faison. So it's really working to their benefit with these wide splits.
Before the snap.
Before the snap, your page review the previous play to see if the runner was down at the 22-yard line.
So they're going to go back and take a look. It's going to be a catch, but as Royals made that catch, was a knee down, and you can see the conversation with Stan Drayton wanting to make sure
on the tackle, yeah, that he was They thought he was down as far as the tackle. I mean, he stopped his momentum, but was he down at the time?
When you play Utah State, you like these reviews, gives you a chance to collect your breath.
Absolutely. You know, but I mean, I just really, I really enjoy how they run this offense and its simplicity in the way they do it. You know, they read option, get the ball to the receiver on the outside, run to the line of scrimmage. Oh, well, you see here, he falls on top of the defender. So technically he wasn't down, but his momentum was stopped. Sean, I'll tell you what, you know, looking at this Temple defense and really, really admiring how they're starting to come together a little bit, you know, especially last week against Coastal Carolina. Woodbury being a major factor. You know, he's going to have to play a great game because what they do is...
After review, the runner was down to the 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 there.
You know, Sean, what they do, they have wide receivers on the outside, close to the sideline. And it forces you as a defense to put a defender out there almost one-on-one. And the way Faison is running the ball, it's really hard to have a linebacker inside the box. So a guy like Woodley's going to have to almost split the difference between stopping the slant play on the outside receiver and be able to support the run on the inside with the back.
So Utah State loses a few yards on that exchange back at the 22. 1st down, though. They pull a couple of linemen. You see the patience there by Faison. That is an offensive lineman's best friend when you see that type of patience from your back.
Right, you know, and it's the greatest play in football. We call this power. Pull that backside guard. It's really Joker, you know, open to the open side. And just follows the back, just follows the offensive lineman, picks a hole, and then kind of influences with that slow play the linebacker to step in, and then he goes out on the outside.
Inside the red zone for the first time. Faison finds a hole, runs over a defender, barrels another as he finishes his run inside the 5. A late flag thrown as Teague Anderson, the right tackle, took out a Temple defender way downfield.
Physicality, physical play. Great decisions by the running back, Faison.
Result of the play is a 1st down. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54, offense. 50-yard penalty, be 1st down and 10.
Boy, Barrett is an ex-offensive lineman and one of the best to play the position. This is Anderson just finishing the play here, coming downfield.
Well, I didn't hear a whistle blow. Then that's where he got the penalty, going in and getting him a 2nd time. You know, he already finished it the 1st time, but then hitting him a 2nd time. You want your offensive line to be nasty and think like that, but, you know, you got to make sure you have a little, you know, withdrawal and understanding it. Hey, I cannot just finish every single play when I hear that whistle. I have to stop.
This is an experienced offensive line for Utah State. Anderson is 3rd year in Logan. Happy to have his brother Trey now part of the roster as he transferred in this offseason from Pitt. Steady dose of Faison in this opening quarter, his 8th carry. We still have over 7.5 minutes to go in this first period.
You know, and when you look at, you know, Coach Drayling, he wants to run the ball like this because he's a defensive guy, and it keeps his defense on the sideline, having them rest and making that defense of the Owls get tired on the outside.
The screen passes almost a carryover of a running play, and that's how Temple defensive coordinator Everett Withers described it. You know, they'll hit these screens, and they threw about as many screens on 1st and 2nd down as he's ever seen watching the film.
Absolutely. You know, it's nothing but a quick screen to the wide receiver. That's why they have those long splits on the outside with the 2 receivers there. One guy blocks, one guy gets the receiver.
3rd down, and Faison just lowers those pads and leverage. Then he gets scooped up and put right back down. Javier Morton coming in, and this will be very close. Looks like they're going to mark him just short. Utah State sprinting. They are lined up, ready to go. 4th down and a conversion for the Aggies as Faison falls ahead, and it will be 1st and goal.
And that's smart by this offense. Petros understands that this defense is not in the right package to run that or stopping that 1st down. Gets to the play, calls a simple running play, read option, and makes the play.
10 carries for 65 yards for Faison in this opening quarter. Well, more than 6 yards per carry, picking up where he left off last week against a stout defense from Utah. White in motion. Petrus, nobody open, so he just throws it away. Good job by the Owls secondary.
RPOs, but see the struggles, you know, they have.
A team that likes to play really fast, but once they get inside that red zone, it has been tough churning this season. A lot of that has to do with playing USC and Utah in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
Second down and goal. Petrus with all sorts of time. Eyes downfield. Now zips it. Ball tipped and nearly intercepted.
Great pass defense. Everybody stayed with their discipline. Every receiver was covered. And great hands getting up into the passing zone. Able to knock the ball down. Great decision by the DBs on the outside.
Jalen Lewis got his hand on it, then Keaton nearly had the pick. Third and goal. Sturzer, the tight end, to the left. Play clock down to 2, down to 1, and some confusion for Utah State. Nate Dreiling all the way down the field from his sideline, taking that timeout.
30 seconds.
ESPN Plus is the place to catch all the American Conference action this fall. ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 200 soccer and volleyball matches, including conference championships. Also the home to All-American, the weekly show highlighting AAC football, airing every Wednesday at 11 Eastern. For more information or to catch all the action, sign up at espnplus.com/AAC. 12th play of this drive coming up. It's been balanced. 6 through the air, 5 rushing attempts, Barrett, all 5 from Faison. What do you like here on 3rd and goal?
Well, I'm gonna go with the guy that's got me down the field. I'm gonna go with Faison, and stay with the simple offense. Have your wide receivers out wide on the play. If they do bring them in Midas splits, they understand they're gonna bring more defenders into the box that can help with blocking.
A couple of big red zone targets have checked into the game as well. Petrus dumps it over the middle. One of those big targets is Brock Lane, and he'll be just shy of the goal line. And another 4th down coming up for Utah State.
Look at them run to the line. But they did bring on new guys so that the defense could do the same thing.
So the officials will stop it. They will allow Temple to bring in their substitution.
And they were coached to do this, you know, to really almost walk onto the field, just to slow the pace down to get who they need in there. As long as you can bring those guys in and replace them.
George Miley, offensive lineman, is the fullback. He'll try to lead block, and Temple is able to get the stop. Penetrating through was DJ Woodbury, and the Owls come up with a huge play early in this game.
There he is. That's that man Woodbury, making things happen in the middle of that defense. What happened on this play, that defensive line got a lot of penetration. Penetration kills run plays. You allow that to happen, press that offensive line back, then there's nowhere for them to pick. Love how they did this, you know. The penetration by that offensive line, the defensive line against the offensive line, getting up the field, Woodbury untouched for the tackle.
Stan Drayton has to be happy with the resilience of his defense. Yeah, they have bent in this first quarter to the tune of 117 yards, but they have not given up a point. A huge 4th down stop a few moments ago.
The big fellas in the middle. You know, you got to look at Gene, Morris, and then you have Woodley, a tackling machine at the linebacker position.
Bad news is for the Temple offense, for the 2nd straight series, they open up at their own 1-yard line. They're going to move the pocket for Simon, running out of real estate, and he will just chuck it toward the Temple sideline.
That's a major strength, you know, that we saw from this offense, moving the pocket a little bit, giving them an opportunity to push the ball down the field. It's really hard from the 1 but it definitely was an advantage last week against Coastal Carolina.
Look at this offensive line for Simon, and they are excited to have a couple of young guys really step up last week. Their left guard, Eric King, and their right guard, Jackson Pruitt, both underclassmen. King, the redshirt freshman from Jersey City, Pruitt, the sophomore from Detroit. Hoping to stabilize this offensive line. A little bit of a hole and some room to work for Wayne Littleton, and this will set up a third down.
Yeah, that's their big back. You know, he kind of moves the chains a little bit just from his physical presence of being the bigger of the guys at the running back position for him. But like you said, that younger offensive line that they have, I mean, it's strange to go in and just, you know, change almost the entire offensive lineup besides the center the third game of the season. But they played well enough last week that they were going with the same lineup again.
Yeah, King started his very first game of his career last week. He's in trouble with his mama. He never told her he was starting until she showed up.
Right.
Third down and 6. Play fake. They dump it out. The tight end, Della Presca, with the first down and more. Della Presca pushed out of bounds at the 19.
And that's what you want. Your Della Presca is a weapon that they need to start using. You know, have the misdirection of the offensive line running zone to the right and just leak Della Presca on the outside for the quick catch and first down. They have some breathing room now.
You look at Temple football over the last few years, and the tight end was David Martin Robinson, and what a target, what a weapon he was.
He's playing on Sunday.
He is. Della Presca trying to fill those big shoes. You see that collision. Mountain West and American Conference colliding there. Falling ahead for 3, maybe 4 yards. Good surge over the left side.
That's a good first down run. You know, you can't have always big plays. So you want to go out there and just, grind it out slowly but surely. This is the first time really that this defense has played, in this game. These guys, haven't had an opportunity to go out there and get up a sweat.
Littleton rushed for 74 yards last week in the loss to Coastal. That was the most by a Temple running back this season. Trio of backs that they like to use. 2nd and 5, and oh my goodness, huge hit applied there by John Ross May.
Some pads popping out there.
And Ross May letting the Temple sideline know about it.
It's a gladiator sport, and these young men look forward to playing on Saturday. Those opportunities, imposing your will, is what you play this game for.
These Temple fans wanting a defenseless receiver. They thought maybe a flag should have been thrown. 3rd down and 5. Play clock 2-5. Simon looks right, puts some air on it, lofts it downfield, 50-50 ball, and it's knocked away. Avante Dickerson got his hand in there. One of the top cover corners in the Mountain West.
Yeah, it's great protection on the outside. He tried to run a little go route. He tried to back shoulder the pass play. He's got to get a little more to the outside to give his receiver a chance to go get it. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go to Wright on that play. Dante Wright is their big play guy. We haven't seen him all day.
Temple able to get a little space for Atten, who's on the punt for the 2nd time. Utah State comes after it. Line drive, end over end. Freeman with the fair catch at the 38. No score. First ever meeting, Temple and Utah State. We'll be back with more from Philadelphia. What a wonderful afternoon to take a stroll to the northwest side of Benjamin Franklin Parkway and pay a visit to the Philadelphia Museum of Art, one of the cultural centers of this beautiful city.
Of the world now. Come on now, the world. I just have to reside in work here now, so it's of the world, man. That's the Rocky steps, man.
I was going to say, have you run those stairs? They move Rocky to the right and to the bottom here in recent years.
No, I'm not running up anything these days.
Faison has been doing a lot of running, and you see him just make the most out of nothing. He was surrounded immediately, but somehow he picks up positive yardage up to the 42.
That's what, that's Woodbury making an instant impact, runs around, and it's getting immediate penetration, making him stop his feet. You don't want to stop your feet as a running back, and he made him stop his feet and redirect.
They want that double move, and it is complete. Brock Lane, the tight end, they fake that screen. Lane shot underneath on the quick slant, and a first down.
I love that, because that's the counter to it. Go up, act like you're going to block, and then turn around, make yourself available, get the ball to him. Great play.
Petrus keeps the foot on the gas. He dials up a deep ball, and it's knocked away. Turning around at the right moment was Andreas Keaton. Boy, how good has Keaton been this year for Temple?
I tell you what, he's a captain, single-digit guy, turns around, tracks the ball. It should have been a pick. Keaton, the captain on this team, that's what you want from one of your guys. In fact, sometimes he wears the green dot, and that's the guy that has the communication with the coaches. That's how viable of a threat he is on this team.
Second down pass goes through the hands of Colby Bowman. Now you go back to Keaton real quickly. How rare is this? He is in his final year of eligibility as a fourth-year senior. You just don't see that.
Absolutely.
In this modern era.
And, he comes in and becomes a single-digit guy. First year here, out the gate, and is awarded that. I mean, that's Temple tough. And he was definitely showed how Temple tough he was on that play.
Transferred in from Western Carolina. Third down and 10. Petrus, nothing open. This secondary doing a good job. Now he floats, and a juggle and a drop off the fingertips of Faison.
Oh, he wants that back because he knew he was open, and he directed Petrus to throw the ball a little over his head. That's the chemistry these guys have together. It was designed to go to him on the play, but he comes to the sideline and throws it up for him. Oh, you got to have that. You want to make it to the next level, you got to make plays like that. That's expected these days at the NFL level.
See if Ryan Marks can pin Temple deep for the second time today. It's inside the 5, and the MVP right now for Utah State is the sophomore Ryan Marks.
You got to have a gunner that wants to go get it. But I tell you what, on that last punt, I bet you Temple special teams coordinator sees that backside may have an opportunity to come block that. So we'll keep an eye on that as this game goes on.
52 yards and a beauty from Marks, who's punted it twice. Pinned Temple at the 1, and now he pins the Owls at the 3. That'll make you a lot of friends with the defensive unit.
Absolutely. Temple still trying to dig themselves out of the hole. They've been on their side of the 20-yard line the entire game.
Well, Danny Langsdorff, the offensive coordinator, really has had his hands tied with what he can call because of that field position. New running back in the game, that is Joquez Smith, the sophomore from Tampa.
Came in last year, was a weapon. Started a couple games.
Yeah, he was part of Drayton's 2023 recruiting class. You mentioned him getting a chance to start last year's first career start. He ran wild, 142 against Norfolk State. Second down and 10. He gets the call. He will try to stretch it wide following that block from his right tackle, Melvin Ciani. Good pursuit, though, by Ike Larson.
Yeah, they run an outside zone on the play, and he dips in to try to get those linebackers to follow him, and then he gets to the outside. At least they got him a little breathing room on that play. At this point, we've got to see Mr. Wright. Dante Wright has to become a major player, especially on this right here, third down. He's got to be the target you go to.
Third down and 6. Wright not out there. Utah State rushes 4. Pass a bit behind and incomplete. The throw was offline, and this Utah State defense forces their second 3 and out.
Yeah, well, you know, Dante Wright was not on the field, so I'm thinking I haven't seen him all game. So we got to see, is there a problem? Is he hurt, or is he not playing today? Because he is definitely the weapon they look to keep the chains moving, to stretch the field, and somebody they rely on to keep that offense moving.
Utah State's going to come out of this in great shape once again. And let's see, I don't think Temple called the timeout before the play clock went down. They did not. So this will move them back a couple more yards. Edwin Lee, by the way, our referee today.
I don't quite understand that.
See if the Aggies come after it. They have 9 guys on that line of scrimmage. Temple making sure they have the protection called. Here they come, and the kick is away. Patton does a nice job of getting that kick off. But like we've seen this entire first quarter, it has been Utah State in plus territory. Nothing to show for it yet.
Both defenses are playing pretty well today, playing discipline. Offensively, these guys need to go out and really execute what they're trying to do. Utah State trying to run as many plays as they can with this quick offense.
You talk about the great tradition of Temple tough and the single-digit players and what Andreas Keaton was able to do in his first year. He joins elite company with Sean Chandler and one heck of a corner, Rock Ya-Sin, back in the 2018 season, who incidentally enough transferred in from Presbyterian.
Came in and really made a difference on that defense. Ended up getting drafted and been consistent, a consistent starter in the league his entire career. Started out with the Colts. Rock Ya-Sin.
Keaton was one of those guys, when you talk to the Temple coaches, they knew he was going to make an immediate impact. They mentioned his name a lot this offseason. Second down, breaking free from the pile, and this is Herschel Turner. Turner showing you what he can do as a freshman. He'll take it to the 15, a gain of 23.
That's been plaguing this Temple offense. Lack of tackling.
23 yards, and they will go fast. Again, it is Turner trying to find some room. He gets 3 and go back to this run. The power of the vision, he has it all.
This is a draw play. Oh, that's a nice move, a nice juke on the linebacker. But then, you know, he's there to make the play. He's got to wrap up and bring it to running back down. He wasn't able to do it.
No score. These two teams meeting for the very first time. A quarter dominated by the Aggies, but nothing to show for the boys from Logan. Downtown Philadelphia, and this is such a passionate sports city. Congratulations to the Phillies last night on the road. They clinched a playoff spot. We pick up action, 2nd and 6, back shoulder throw, and Kyrese White cannot reel it in.
It's a beautiful pass on the outside. Back shoulder throw. Turns around. I mean, he should have caught that. It was a catchable ball. At least it's not, you know, last week he had an opportunity, but then he got muscled by the DB. Out-muscled. For an interception.
3rd down and 6. Utah State 0 for 2 in their red zone trips. Coming off a first quarter that they just flat out dominated, 31 plays to 12 underneath, crossing route. Tia with the catch, and he's upended. This will be very close. See the Aggies lined up, ready to go. They're going to say 1st down. Tia's first catch of the day. Handoff is to the freshman. Turner runs into the wall, keeps his legs churning. Touchdown for Herschel Turner. His first touchdown as an Aggie, the freshman from Richmond, California.
Temple defense starts out, gets penetration, keeps him from going, but they got to wrap up, finish the play. Freshman keeps his legs churning, goes in for the touchdown.
What a drive for Herschel Turner. 4 carries, 32 yards. Couple of those carries that looked like he was dead to right, kept his balance, and he finds the end zone for the first time. He showcased what he could do late in the game against USC. You talk to the coaches, they are really excited about his future. Well, guess what? The future is now here in the spotlights of Philly. Turner finds the end zone. The Aggies fire the opening salvo. Herschel Turner had a lot of options coming out of Mount Diablo High School in Richmond, California. He turned down some SEC offers. The Big 12 came calling, but when it came down to it, the relationships that he had built with his new coaching staff, Utah State simply checked all the boxes, and what a high school career he had. His senior year, he set a school record for rushing yards. He had 9 200-yard games, 6 300-yard efforts, and he closed out his career with a 400-yard monster performance. So this is a young man that certainly has run through a lot of tacklers in his young years, and he did so against the Temple defense on that last drive.
Almost bionic.
High kick, and this is a live football, and forced to eat on it at the 7-yard line as E.J. Wilson and Temple cannot buy a break with their field position. Man, their starting position today has been in the tank, and you see the Owl frustration on that sideline. 1 first down so far, but to be honest, Barrett, this is an offensive unit that hasn't been able really to open up what they want to do with their play calling because of this field position.
And it's, you know, that right there is another mistake. I mean, look at that. Come on now. On the own one, now the own 3, and now they're not even past the 10 yet on start position. Unbelievable.
On first down, pressure comes, and Simon just got rid of it quickly. He was getting sandwiched. The first one through was Kean Sloan.
He tried to set up a screenplay on that, and you know, at this point, the defenders are trying to meet the quarterback, and they run into each other.
Yeah, that's Marlon Dean, who was going to see more action on first and second down today because of the injuries to Gabe Peterson and Anoka Mingau. Those 2 players inactive today for Utah State. Peterson out with a fractured rib. Mingau not in uniform, so this defensive end position with Marlon Dean being attended to, getting razor thin for Nate Dryland.
Very, very thin. You know, and I mean, you don't like to see a kid hurt, but I tell you, he's hustling. You know, looking, they're meeting at the quarterback, and friendly fire that gets his leg rolled up on one of his own teammates.
Dean was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. In fact, spent a year with Georgia. That's how big he was. Last year at Butler Community College, had 7.5 sacks. Exceptional pass rusher. They like to use him on third downs, but as we talked about with the injuries, forced to see more action today. Littleton with that 240-pound frame, he'll take it up to the 15.
There you go. You mean, and now it's third and manageable now. You got to make sure that you keep things in perspective. You know, it's 3rd and 5. They can work out something now, but they have too many instances where first and second down they had nothing to help their cause out in moving the chains.
Taz Williams is checked in. He'll line up over the football wearing number 8 for Utah State. 3rd down and 5. The Owls 1 of 4 on 3rd down today. Simon throws, and it's offline, too tall. He was trying to find Dante Wright, and a 3-and-out. 3rd time that Temple's offense has been unable to get anything going.
Yeah, I thought they would go to him a lot earlier in the game. I don't know. I guess they don't have the personnel packages for being that backed up for him to be out there. I guess they want to keep an extra tight end in or something like that, just as far as making sure they can run the ball.
Atten has been in the red carpet this entire half. Rugby style, gets the kick away. Freeman will have everybody back away, and the Owls are there to pounce on it at the 47.
Well, I mean, we know what they're going to do. We know what the Aggies are going to do. They're going to run the ball. They're going to be consistent. Why would they stop? Faison has been toting the ball very, very well, and then to come out with a freshman in Turner. Stay balanced, run the ball, and basically just do what they want to do. Run as many plays as they can, keep their offense on the field, keep that defense out there as long as they can. The war of attrition starts looking worse for the Owls defense.
So they start up at the 48. Quick throw is to Jalen Royals, and Royals yards after contact as he slips his way to the 39, a pickup of 9.
And with the way this running game is going, Royals can become a major factor because you're going to have to allocate a lot of resources in the inside. The way Faison and Turner are running the ball, now you got one-on-one on the outside.
Second in the yard, and they set up that screen near side. Back-to-back catches for Royals as he takes it to the 34. 5 more yards and a Utah State first down. Allen Hay, the tackle.
Yeah, that forces not only the linebackers to go out there and make plays on these screen plays, but even the defensive line have to make sure they track and retrace.
Faison trying to stretch it wide, being pursued by Woodbury, and he runs out of bounds, but another good gain on first down. Tell you what, the more you watch Rasul Faison, the more you are impressed. And watching him live time for the first time, he really has it all. His vision, his patience, he showed it less than that on a number of occasions today.
And you have to watch the cutback, and as a linebacker, as you watching him go down, he's slowing down, he's being very patient, and if he dips inside, you got to respect it, and then he's able to get to the outside, setting up the blocks for the receivers and the offensive linemen.
Utah State doing a terrific job with their first down gains, sticking on schedule. Second in a yard. Faison stood up, much better resistance this time by Temple. Number of Owls in there. Stewart was one of the first ones in, Cameron Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, they get penetration up the field and get a tackle for loss. That's exactly what this Temple defense can do, but they haven't been able to do it consistently. Tie all their fundamentals together, they have to do that.
Third and a long yard. Petrus might be changing up the play here. Temple brings a blitz. They run that screen again. Royals with the catch. Royals with space. Touchdown, Utah State.
Simple screen in the inside. They set it up. Patience, get it out to receiver, and they were in man-to-man coverage. So once he beat his guy, and his guy got blocked on the outside, there was nobody else left there to make the tackle. Great play call by this Utah Aggies offense.
You look at the great receivers in the Mountain West Conference. The Torrey Hortons of the world, the Ricky Whites, well, Jalen Royals with that group, one of the best. Utah State extends the lead. Coming off a season in which he was a part of 15 touchdown receptions, a school record for Jalen Royals. He has number 2 here in 2024. 26-yard perfectly executed screen that looked like was dialed up from Spencer Petrus, and one of the key players on that play, the block from the tackle, Cole Moats.
Yeah, get him a little, get the offensive line a little, Jeff. You look at him. Big Moats gets out there and gets the block that opens up Royal on the play. Gets him free, breaks him out. That's the guy that had him man-to-man. So, offensive linemen always get called for holding calls or penalties like that. Well, let's give this guy a little bit of praise for getting out there, blocking a superior athlete to him, and opening up a pass play for Royals.
Moats along with the center, Falepule Alo, both part of that 2021 Mountain West Championship for Utah State. 2 veterans on this offensive line. Moats starting his 26th career game, and he's a player that's been so valuable. He can play the left side, he can play that right side tackle position. He was brought into Utah State by the coaches who watched a highlight reel of his best dunks that he had during the basketball season.
There we go.
That's how athletic he is.
He showed athleticism out there, and he looks the part too. Scrawly beard, you know, hair everywhere, war paint all over his face. That's where you want your offensive lineman to look. Just out there just playing. Look at him. Look at gnarly.
Second straight week that unit has played really well. All right, key drive now for Temple as they start at the 22, and they will run that jet sweep and get into the corner, and a good gain. Something that they desperately needed. Kajaya Halloway, the junior that they want to get some more touches to.
Yeah, a lot of speed, you know, but look at the receivers on the outside. They're able to go out there and give him a chance to make it to the outside. Look, the physicality of this play. We didn't want any holding, so that was good that no holding came with that.
Well, now Temple takes a page out of the Utah State playbook. They go up-tempo, swinging it to Littleton. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11.
I'm looking forward to seeing this offense open up a little bit. You know, I need to see Adams. I need to see Wright. They're going to have to push the ball down the field. They want to compete with this team.
And a slow start for Evan Simon, 1 of 8. That one completion was tied in Della Pesca. They run boundary side with the pitch. Littleton is tackled out of bounds. John Miller, backup linebacker, in on the stop, and a 3rd down for the Owls. And this has not been their friend today. 1 of 5 so far this afternoon on 3rd downs.
Yeah, once again, 3rd and 5 on that play. And, you know, at least they can have a 3rd and manageable. You know, 3rd and 5 is manageable for them. They're used to being in this position. Was it Wright going to make this play?
Aggies able to get a late substitution in. 3rd down and 5. Let's see if they come after Simon here. They run a stunt. Pressure comes. Simon can run for it, sees some space, and he'll pick up the 1st down. Good pocket presence for Evan Simon.
And that's one of the things he brings to the table. He's a pretty good athlete. But, you know, look, the guys were covered down the field. Nobody was open. Nobody had any separation. So he had to go up, take it down, pull it down, and run for it.
11-yard run and a 1st down. The Owls in plus territory for the first time, and nowhere to go at the line of scrimmage. A yard, maybe 2. That was their defensive end, Blaine Spires, blowing it up.
That's just him going and hustling. That's a hustle play from the backside. Just running down the backside on the play, making that running back redirect, stop his feet. It would make a big play for a tackle for loss.
It was Tyrell Washington, the last ball carrier, so they've used 4 different backs. They pitch it, juggling it was Littleton, finally able to put his hands around it. It's good yardage over that left side. 2nd time we've seen them run that pitch to the boundary.
Yeah, James Della Pesca, toss crack. He comes down at the tight end on the outside, cracks the defensive end, allowing the running back to get to the outside.
Another 3rd down. Utah State brings the blitz over the middle. Della Pesca, 1st down, up to the 31. It's a gain of 10 yards.
And that's Della Pesca. You know, he's a grad player, you know, older statesman, leading by example. Makes himself available in the middle of that defense, in zone coverage. Tackle, keep the chains moving.
43rd game. That's a team high that he has played. Cherry and White of Temple. Nice looking drive for the Owls as we go inside 8 minutes. Little change of direction and all sorts of room. Big block by Della Pesca to the pylon. Touchdown, Temple. It's Antonio Jones.
Great misdirection on this play. Get everybody running to the right side, sneak that offensive tackle on the left side out, get him up on a block. Della Pesca gets down the field, presses it. Della Pesca gets up, great block on the outside. And then Jones just takes it in for the score.
Something to smile about for Temple in this first half.
You got a game.
32 yards, capping off an 8-play, 78-yard drive. Boy, did Temple ever need it. Antonio Jones, the redshirt junior, picks up a huge downfield block from Della Pesca. The Owls find the end zone for the first time. Temple playing a Mountain West team for just the second time in program history. They're 1-0. Won a bowl game more than 10 years ago against Wyoming. That's been their only taste of a Mountain West opponent. Today here in Philly, Utah State came ready to go, but the Owls able to put together a nice bounce back drive, finally working with decent field position instead of the shadows of their own goal, and they delivered.
What, 5 drives? Just started behind the 10-yard line. That's tough. That's tough sledding all day.
Yeah, their average starting position was a 3.5-yard line for their first 4 series. Now this defense will try to slow down Utah State, and it has been a 2-man wrecking crew today. Get you on the ground with Faison, then they'll sneak it in the air to Royals.
Yeah, it's tough when you have an offense, just going out there and playing in sync like that. You want to stop the run, so you put extra defender to run, and then you do that. And with these wide splits, Royal goes out and then takes over on the outside with these screen plays and his ability to run after the catch.
Petrus has targeted him frequently today. 7 of the 11 completions for Spencer Petrus in his return to action have went toward number 1.
And number 1 is a special player. He has the ability to really run smooth routes, number 1. But then when you get the ball to him, he can run you over. So he's got a nice mix of intangibles to help him be a really good receiver.
Well, he came out of nowhere last year to earn first-team All-Mountain West. Had a 1,000-yard season. Petrus is going to tuck and run, and he will go into a protective slide up near the first down. They're going to say that knee went down around the 32, setting up a 3rd down.
You saw that, but they finally covered. Everybody was covered. He couldn't make that quick decision out there. The Royals on the play. He had a linebacker sitting waiting where he stopped in the middle of the defense. So Petrus, has some pretty good legs. He can run the ball a little bit.
2-by-2 formation. They stack him on this 3rd and short. Petrus wanted that quick slant, now fires and throws a strike. Temple saying that ball was knocked down, and they are correct. Incomplete. Bowman unable to reel it in. And Utah State with a 4th down as Johnson got his hand in there.
Great intensity on that play to finish the play. And that's what they haven't been doing lately. They weren't finishing plays. That's a great job of Bowman just finishing. Bowman inability to finish the play. And they're going for it on 4th down.
A little bit of a momentum change here as they send out Katsili, who gets the kick away. Fair catch signaled for by Dante Wright at the 35. So Temple in this defense, they hold a quick 3 and out. You can see the confidence with Evan Simon. This offense right back on the field after the 43-yard punt.
They will move the chains. We saw a Dante Wright sighting. Maybe they can open up a little bit. They have some really good weapons on the outside. John Adams still hasn't been able to go out there and show what he could do. Last week, he was a game breaker. Big plays. This offense wants to make big plays. Once they establish the run, then go over the top. It's not until they establish that run and really do that consistently that they can get with the big plays and stretch this offense a little bit.
So their star player, Wright, begins this series on the sideline. First down from the 34. Simon, pressure comes, avoids trouble. Now scoots to the outside and avoids the big hit. Good job by Simon. That's twice now we've seen him be real effective when he decides to tuck it and run.
Good decision. Nobody's open, but it's really caused me some concern because none of the receivers have been open on the outside.
Gain of 8 for Simon. Flag flies on 2nd and 2. Near sideline, making the catch and battering his way to a first down is Littleton, but a flag thrown. Some pleasantries being exchanged as well. John Ross May.
With 4 players in the back of the snap. Offense. Right-guard penalty. Repeat, second down.
This will be 5 yards against the Owls.
That's when we talk about fundamentals, you know, making sure. I mean, it's a pre-snap penalty. You can't have pre-snap penalties. You know, when you have those type of penalties, you know, it really puts you behind the buck. They had a great drive going, and now they're backed up again. Second and long.
Wright continues to be a spectator on this second down play. They pitch it to the right side. Littleton stood up right at the 40-yard line. Manageable third down coming up for Temple as we hit 5.5 minutes to go in this second quarter.
When you ask a receiver to do a crack block, you know, they're trying to do a toss crack on the play. I mean, they're going to toss the ball to the running back, but they're going to have a receiver go down to try to block the edge. And, you know, some more times than not, you know, and a wide receiver on the defensive end, that's not what you want to do.
Temple 3 for 7 on third downs. This is a big one late in this first half. Design draw. Simon is going to move the chains again. Boy, he has been effective with his feet. This time it was a draw and a run all the way.
Love the draw play. You just take the defensive line where they want to go. You find yourself trying to press them where they don't want to go, they'll stop. But just take them where they want to go with these draw plays. And offensive line, that's the best play that you can have. You set like you're going to pass rush. He runs to the right. You just drive him to the right.
A bit of a different look at who they're targeting in the passing game today. First down run for Joquez Smith. Keep an eye on that clock. Still plenty of time for this Temple offense. Obviously, they want this drive to end with points, but they don't necessarily want to allow this quick strike Utah State offense to get another crack.
Yeah, they want to keep the ball as long as they can.
Smith stays in the game at running back. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 4-man front. Simon sets up that middle screen. Smith with the catch. Follows a block. Dives ahead to the 38. And a first down, a gain of 11.
You know, he's the third down back if you're going to ask, you know, what these guys do. Get him out there, get that yak yardage. A guy that can go out there and be very, very decisive in his ability to just get down the field for the first down.
And we see why they are excited about their young lineman, Eric King. He timed that beautifully as he got out in front of his back. First down for Temple as they are on the march. At the Utah State 39, they will run the jet sweep. This is Wright. He puts his heels in the turf, looked for a cutback lane, and there was nothing to be found.
Great play on the outside corner, wide corner. Sets the edge on the play. When you set the edge like that, force everything to come back inside to the teeth of the defense. And the pursuit lanes by that Utah State defense allowed them to come up and make a play on Wright, who's pretty good at running those jet sweeps like that.
Yeah, this secondary really good for Utah State. Ike Larson, the first team All Mountain West player from a year ago.
He definitely set the edge.
Very physical safety. Temple using all of the play clock. Second down and 10. Clap of the hands by Simon. Double clutches now, spots the tight end at the last second. Della Pesca. And they continue to pick on the middle of this Utah State defense.
You know, they're bringing people all the time in the middle of that defense. So once somebody leaves, you got to have somebody replace them. And Della Pesca is able to, you know, sit down, make himself available to the quarterback, and he's been consistent with it.
We reach the 2-minute timeout. Utah State with the first 14. Temple trying to bounce back late here in the first half from Philly. Stan Drayton and Temple hungry for their first win of this season. The Owls off to an 0-3 start. First time that's happened since 2013. Temple's last win, you go back to November of last year against Navy. difficult schedule with Oklahoma week 1. Then they lost to the Midshipmen in week 2. You saw Coastal Carolina, very talented Chanticleer team here last week. And then they have a short week as Army will pay a visit this Thursday.
Talking about different offenses every single week. Oh, my goodness.
Polar opposites.
Right.
First down 10, Temple after the 2-minute timeout at the 29. They fake the jet sweep. Now Simon will go that direction, making the catch. This is Holloway. And Holloway is driven out of bounds.
Yeah, you watch that defense there. They had 3 men rushing, everybody else in coverage. That's why he couldn't go down the field. So why not give it out for a quick pass? Then allow, him to at least get some yardage on first down.
Now watching Simon today, very good. He hasn't pressed the issue, hasn't tried to force it where it's not there. Second down and 4. Quarterback keeper makes a nice move, and he will pick up the first down as he dives out of bounds. Chased out of bounds by Jordan Vincent, and Temple is into the red zone. Really the clock, Barrett, not much of a factor with all 3 timeouts.
Right, it was a great block on the outside by the receiver Jones. He actually put the DB on his back. DJ Graham.
Wholesale changes checking in for Utah State. Some fresh bodies. Miguel Jackson, Lawrence Falatea. Some of those new D linemen. Simon pressure right up the middle, wheel route, making the catch. Littleton tight ropes the sideline, finishes the run with 6.
Evan Simon, man, tough kid. You know you're going to get hit. You know you're going to get blasted. Great play by the young quarterback.
10 plays, 65 yards, a little more than 5 minutes off the game clock on that last scoring drive for the Owls. 17 yards. And you talk about poise and toughness. Simon, as you talked about, knew he was going to pay the price. And the big back showing
rolling on the field is a touchdown.
Some agility.
This play is under further review.
And now that agility is going to be tested as they take a look upstairs to make sure he did not step out of bounds.
Yeah, Sean, you look at this. Talking about they blitzed. And they blitzed to the only guy that could have the running back man-to-man. They blitz him. Nobody has that man on the play. And then after that, go in for the score. You're a big dude, man. Just run those guys over. I'd be looking for contact on that play.
If the call stands, it would be his first touchdown of the year, and Twain Littleton.
But great play call on this. They knew John Ross May blitzed on a play. Ordinarily, he would have the running back man-to-man on that play. Well, Littleton is able to go and catch the ball on the outside on a simple little wheel route and go in for the score. Showed some balance.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Athleticism. That's a big guy.
40 pounds.
Yeah.
Tight roping the sideline for the final few yards. See that left foot kick the pylon. Let's listen in.
Further review, rolling on the field stands, touchdown.
So as expected, the touchdown sticks. Littleton has his first touchdown as an Owl, and just like that, 13 unanswered for the Cherry and White.
Simon takes it, allowing his team to tie it, well, at least giving him an ability to tie it up.
Credit the decision-making and the running ability of Evan Simon on these last 2 drives. showed a lot of poise as the point after is good, and we have a brand new football game tied at 14. You want to be a quarterback? Well, you got to show some toughness, and Simon making just his 4th career start with all the toughness that you need right here.
Great play. And you know what he did? He's looking off the coverage. Looking him off, looking it off, looking it off. And all of a sudden, bam, gets it outside to Littleton on the play. He stood in there and took that punishment. As a leader on this team right now, him being the starter quarterback, that's what you want to see from your starting quarterback. Evan Simon showing I can take this team, I can lead them down, tighten this score up, going into halftime.
Simon just wasn't getting the reps he wanted to at Rutgers. And he made the decision last December to hit the transfer portal. Really called it a no-brainer to come here to Temple. Grew up in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. The location, the proximity to family were the keys. Knew he would have a quarterback battle. This was a position that was occupied by E.J. Warner for a couple of years. It was a high pass volume offense.
Yeah, it was a drop back quarterback system back then. They just totally rechanged everything up and going in a totally different direction now with a, you know, a more athletic quarterback system with 2 guys that are more athletic. And Coach Langdorf, the offensive coordinator, understood that he had to change things up for the talent that he has.
So Utah State, in the tempo at which this offense works, 70 seconds is an eternity of time, especially when you have the playmakers like Jalen Royals, and he has been busy today. Targeted 10 times, 7 catches for Royals. Expect to see a steady dose of #1 here as the Aggies will work their offense and the 2 timeouts. Petrus from the 25. Throws it, and it's nearly intercepted. Should have been picked off.
They ran man 3 on that. Everybody's man-to-man underneath. 1 high safety. Oh, great places, an errant throw by Petrus.
That is one Javier Morton would love to have back. Again, this is a defense that has not produced a turnover through the first 3 weeks. Crossing pattern, it's White, and he'll take it up to the 37, a gain of 12 and a first down. Clock will stop as they move the change. Utah State lined up and ready to roll. Petrus near side, back-to-back catches. It's White. Tackled immediately.
This offense is really tough to defense, you know, at the linebacker position, because at times you might have a running back or even a wide receiver go out there that you have to cover man-to-man.
Drag route is there. Royals onto the Temple side of the field. Excellent job by Utah State. Ben Osweke is the injured corner for Temple, so this will stop the clock with 30 seconds. So how about the execution from Utah State? They have yet to use a timeout, and they've turned the field on the march.
Well, I mean, this is what they do. This is why they love to run this system. You know, the more plays you can get, the more opportunities you can get to make this defense make a mistake. And, you know, they're moving it consistently down the field. They thrive in this type of system. Most teams go in and they use this 2-minute drives just during 2-minute time. Well, this is what they do. This is how they run their offense on the norm. So it's comfortable for them. Very comfortable for them.
Elliot Nimrod has a strong leg. He hit a career-high 50-yarder in week 1 against Robert Morris. In fact, he was perfect in the win against Robert Morris. Since that game, though, he has missed his last 3, including field goals of 43 and 35 yards a week ago against Utah. Then he missed a 52-yarder in the Coliseum against USC. Normally a very reliable kicker.
I'll tell you what, both kickers, you know, really allowed their head coaches to, you know, think about kicking field goals from the 45 on in. So
see the medical team still attending to Osweke as we take another look. It was Osweke who was in on that tackle of Royals.
Royal's foot might have dug itself into his chest or stomach, around that area.
Good to see him up on his feet. One of 16 junior college players on this Temple roster, and see the back of the foot, like you said, Barrett, laying right in that unprotected area below the sternum. We've all been hit there, and that can hurt.
Yeah,
it can knock your breath away.
Yeah.
Yes, it can. So hopefully Osweke will be all right. Meanwhile, on first down, this is Faison, and there he goes. Toward the sideline, Faison steps out of bounds at the 20, just a gaping hole, 26 more yards.
Yeah, it's just a quick trap. This is the easiest play in football. They run trap. They influence the 3 technique up the field, pull the backside guard, and Faison just so fast, getting up and down, north and south.
Untouched from 20 yards, Faison, and Utah State makes it look easy. Literally untouched.
Great home showing by Faison, Potsdam native. The simplicity of how they run plays.
What a first half for Faison. He had to come up with between 200 and 300 tickets for all of his family and friends and supporters, and boy, he is putting on a show.
Look at that trap in the inside. He just runs right in behind him. They ran trap twice in a row. The same play. It was the exact same play. Look, pull the backside guard, run in behind him. It just opens up, untouched into the end zone. Faison giving his hometown crowd something to look at.
Been a long path to Logan. Rasul Faison.
Number 17 is wearing number 11.
Spent his 2020 season at Lackawanna College, spent 2021 at Marshall, and then he went to Snow College in Utah for the 2022 season. Last year, he was part of a trio of backs utilized by Utah State. One of those running backs, Robert Briggs, was back this season, but unfortunately Briggs sustained a serious leg injury this offseason, so he is out. So Faison has been the guy, and then we saw earlier in this first half Herschel Turner ready to provide that backup, a supplement as well.
Just as talented, when you have those type of guys back there, it's really easy, it's a no-brainer, and they weren't a team that wanted to really run the ball at the beginning of the year, but you look at.
And now getting to the corner is Temple with the return. They don't have a lot of time, just 10 seconds. But the return of 35 yards.
Now we said, Temple's kicker, we know that they're very comfortable at 50 on in, kicking a 50-yarder.
Therese Worthy setting up an opportunity here for the Owls now with 3 timeouts, but again 10 seconds, and you hit it right on the button with Maddox Trujillo, who the coaches told us they are very comfortable rolling him out from 60 to 61 yards.
Coach said every time he passes the 50, he hears boom.
Thank you.
His kicker's over there kicking once they pass the 50-yard line.
Boy, these end of halves, aren't they critical in the outcome of a long football game? Time to throw, sideline pattern caught at the 46-yard line. Della Pesca with the catch. Temple will use the timeout immediately.
These are the plays of first down. Timeout.
And here comes Maddox Trujillo to try to close out what has been a wild finish to this first half.
Look at the intensity in his face.
Hey, you start going back into the record books a little bit with this field goal attempt coming up. The longest field goal made here at Lincoln Financial Field. All reliable Jake Elliott. That was from 61 yards.
Yes, and that's the year they won the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And he kicked it against the Giants, which jump-started their season. Going into the season, and from that point on, they didn't look back. The longest field goal by a non-NFL player, 54 yards by who?
That man right there. Hit 54 last week in the loss to Coastal. This one officially will go down as a 64-yard field goal from the near hash. Snap down, kick on the way. Does it have enough leg? It is up and it is gone!
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, young man. The longest field goal at the Lincoln Financial Field. 64 yards. Oh my goodness. Way to go into halftime.
It's not too often when you talk to these head coaches that one of the first conversations you have is about the kicker. But Stan Drayton made it crystal clear he loves this young man. A record here at the lake. 64 yards off the iron and through for Temple. The man of the hour right there from Temple to close out the first half. A Lincoln Financial Field record 64-yard field goal for Maddox Trujillo. And the Owls trail by 4. You look in the record books, the 64-yarder, the 8th longest in NCAA history. It's the longest field goal since 2009. It shattered the old Temple record of 56 yards. So we'll see if that momentum carries over into the second half. And Barrett Brooks, this is the moment that we all witnessed right before halftime.
Unbelievable. You know, but it was affirmed by his head coach. He had no problem with doing that. He said as soon as he crosses the 50-yard line, he turns around and his kicker is starting to kick into the net, preparing for anything to happen. So, you know, when you got a guy that really thinks he can do it, this guy not only thought he could do it, he did it. Look at, he's so intense.
Temple won the toss, they deferred, so the Owls will get the football right back from the 16. We'll see if that momentum carries over, and for the first time, Utah State is able to get to Evan Simon. Miguel Jackson leading the charge along with Blaine Spires.
Yeah, that's just, you know, a defensive lineman just didn't give up on the rush. You know, offensive lineman had a great set, punched, was battling. You know, the ball should have left. And you can't have a picnic back there. You had to get the ball out your hands, but, you know, eventually the rush is going to get there to you.
First sack of the day by either team. Utah State, just their 4th sack of the season. They faked the pitch. Simon, who was effective in the first half running the football, takes it up near the 20. Simon, in fact, leading the charge on the ground. 6 carries now for Evan Simon. Over 40 yards, so a little bit of a twist. That trend continues. It's been somebody different each week for this Temple offense.
Well, they need him to just go out there and make a play, and that's what he's been doing, is using his legs to really keep these drives going.
Injury update, no Dante Wright right now. He has been limited as far as his reps, so the big target not here on 3rd down. Spires hits him, and Simon is forced to throw it away. Blaine Spires came through at the last second. He's their main pass disruptor.
Yeah, you know, and this happens with guys that just starting to, you know, play, you know, alongside of each other. Pruitt and Siani, they haven't had a lot of reps together. So what they had, they ran an ET stunt, and on the ET stunt, they tried to pass it off, or they didn't pass it off right because one guy left his guy open, and the twister came around and got pressure on the quarterback. You need to get that togetherness, you know, cohesiveness, knowing what each other's going to do.
Aton with the kick. And Utah State will get the football for the first time in this second half. Good job by the Aggie defense, making sure that momentum from Trujillo did not carry over into the 3rd quarter. You see Spencer Petrus's numbers today. 14 of 26 in his return to action. He's missed the last couple of weeks with the ankle injury. We were talking with the coaches last night. They thought originally it was going to be a high ankle sprain. They were thinking anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. It got downgraded a couple of weeks ago. They thought he could have played last week, but they erred on the side of caution, and he's looked sharp here this afternoon. Utah State from the 43. Over the middle, wide open, finding a hole in the zone is White, and he will take it into plus territory to the 37. It's a gain of 20.
He sits down in the middle of that zone, caught him in zone, and able to find the open spot on there, and then once again a missed tackle. It was already going to be a first down, but it's more yak yardage because of the missed tackle.
Fourth catch of the day for Kyrese White. This is Faison, who had a field day in the first half. Faison, 17 carries, 123 yards in the first half, and including the touchdown. What stood out watching him?
Just watching that offensive line, understand that they just got to keep their feet moving, and he's going to set their blocks up for them. He dips in and out, allowing them to get to their blocks, and then after that, he just turns it on, one-step cut and go.
He hit 100 yards last week against Utah. He's done that in a half of football today. Royals has been the other end of that 1-2 punch, and he makes the catch up to the 22. It's a gain of 14 and a first down.
Yeah, you know, look at that slow play as it gets inside of the DB. That's what happens when you're a man-to-man. You got to make the tackle. The yak yards is what's really killing this defense of Temple.
Faison with the stiff arm trying to get out of side. You see that stop and go movement as he was being chased by Jalen Lewis.
So shifty on that play. It should have been a tackle for loss. But once again, tackling is definitely an issue for this Temple Owls defense.
Faison rushed for 736 yards last year. He had a couple of 100-yard efforts, 181 against Nevada, 106 against New Mexico. Faison up ahead to the 15-yard line. He can beat you after contact, or he can beat you with his agility like right here.
Watch, slow down. Oh, that little stutter step right there allowed him to get 3 or 4 extra yards on the play. You got to finish these plays. You got to finish the tackle. Wrap him up. Bring the ball carrier down. Once again, not just the running backs, but also, you know, on the outside with tackling Royal.
Busy day for Faison, third down. He gets the call again. Quick hitter over that left side, keeps those legs churning, and this will be real close.
At the point of contact, that yak yardage, another first down. She's just so disciplined and not giving up on the play.
Pottstown, Pennsylvania native, putting on a show back here in his home state.
They'll have a lot to talk about Thanksgiving dinner on the performance he's having today.
Josh Sturzer is checked in as the H-back right. He will be the lead blocker. Faison just pushing that pile. The beauty about Rasul Faison, nothing is backwards. Even on contact, he keeps those legs churning. He gets those extra yard, 2, 3 yards, even when it looks like the play's done.
Yeah, you know, he's always going for it. He just doesn't give you an opportunity to keep him wrapped up. He's always got his legs moving.
They can still pick up a first down. Petrus will whip it. This one too tall. Good coverage. They were looking for Royals, but he had absolutely no room to work in the back of the end zone.
It's just so hard to, you know, with this Utah State defense, I mean offense, because defensively, they're forcing you to go man-to-man because of the run game.
Third down. Petrus wanted a quick glance at what Temple was going to showcase defensively. That's why he put Sturzer in motion. They go trips right. Looking at Faison initially. Now he's hit and dropped. Sacked back at the 15-yard line. Morris came shooting through along with Taekwon King.
You know, up front, you know, those guys can really rush the passer, and then you just got to keep going. He brought the ball down. As soon as he brought it down, and he'll give somebody else an opportunity to get there.
What a game today for King in there for the injured Eric Stewart. Double-digit tackles for Taekwon King. Temple with their first sack of the day, and now it will be Elliot Nimrod. 29-yard field goal for the left-footed kicker. He kind of stumbled out of the gates, and he hooked it no good. So Nimrod has now missed his last 4 field goal attempts. Utah State, a 4-point lead. Well, they show up in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. They talk about Temple tough. Would this be categorized as Temple tough right there, Barrett?
That's royalty right there, royalty. You know, you talk about Temple tough. That's Temple royalty.
They're enjoying themselves on a beautiful afternoon, late afternoon from Philly, as the Owls go back to work their second offensive series of this third quarter with Antwain Littleton, a gain of 6.
Good run play to start this thing off. Stay consistent. Give them offensive lineman up front a chance to come off the rock.
We have not seen E.J. Wilson in the backfield today. It's been mainly Littleton and Joquez Smith. On the 2nd down and 4, RPO action. Simon nowhere to throw it, so he will tuck it in and pick up a yard or 2. Brought down by Falatea.
Yeah, this is an RPO. This happens sometimes with the RPO. You know, you can't throw it because the offensive linemen are down the field, and you know, you want to make something big out the play. Sometimes you just got to take it, get as many as you can on the play.
Simon started this game 1 for 8. He had a stretch where he hit 7 consecutive. 8 of 16, 76 yards, but he's been really effective on these third downs with his feet. 4-man front for Utah State. And the pass is dropped right through the hands of Ashton Allen. That's one he'd love to have back. Utah State knows they dodged a bullet.
Yeah, and that's his speed guy too. You know, I mean, if he gets that and turns around, you know, he's a guy that can really take it down the field. You know, they overflood the inside with the crossing pattern. Get the ball to him, he turns up. There's no linebackers that can keep up with him, and it's just, you know, green grass. That was a great opportunity for a huge play for this Temple Owl offense.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of short-armed it a little bit as he tried to bring it in. Allen making a return back to the sport of football. He was an All-American track and field out at USC, but in his final year of eligibility, he wanted a change of pace, wanted to go back to a sport that he loved so much in high school, and Temple's certainly happy to have him.
He can really make a difference in this offense. You know, if they... It's almost like you have to game plan them and put them in position.
So Spencer Petras ready to go back to work after the 46-yard punt. Petras coming back from an ankle injury that he sustained in week 1. Tons of football experience. Was the main guy in Iowa City for so many years for head coach Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes. And I mean, you talk about 2 polar opposite offensive philosophies.
Right.
What Iowa likes to do in the tight quarters and the space and the wide open game of Utah State. No space to work with here. Huge loss on the play. Cameron Stewart.
Great penetration up front. They stop the line of scrimmage. Look at the defensive line. Press the offensive line back. And then you just go make a tackle. Wrap up. A lot of times they miss those tackles throughout this game. Fundamentally, you got to make those type of tackles.
Stewart adds to his team lead and tackle for losses out of the backfield. Will Money with his first touch. Good open field tackle by Andreas Keaton.
You know, Temple has done a good job, you know, kind of keeping some of these weapons. You know, Brock Lane has been a weapon for them, especially in the red zone. You know, but at this point, they don't have to. Faison has just been a monster running the ball, and then Royal on the outside.
See if Utah State goes to that screen game. 3rd down. No, they will not. Instead, sideline pattern, and it's caught. Kyrese White with the reception, and a huge 3rd down conversion to White, who's becoming a factor in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, because it's almost man-to-man, and you got to make sure you stay with your guy. They're creating separation on the outside. White is just too quick to go one-on-one against a safety.
Talk about a guy waiting for his opportunity. 6th-year player. 3rd year in Logan, spent 3 years at Utah. Did not catch a ball with the Utes, sitting behind some really good wide receivers. 2 hard-fought yards will make it 2nd and 8 as we hit 6 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. A little bit of a contrast to what we saw in that 2nd quarter, where it was all offense. Both defenses trenching in right now.
Yeah, you know, the lines, it's all about that line of scrimmage. You know, who could, you know, it's about that real estate. It's 6 yards, 3 yards before the ball, 3 yards after the ball. Who's going to get there by guys behind or before that line of scrimmage?
Petrus on the move, high throw, and off the fingertips of White. And another 3rd down for Utah State.
Once again, where's Royal at? That's the big play guy for this offense.
Been a career day for Jalen Royals. Career high 9 catches for 107 yards.
One-on-one on the outside. They run it.
Good cut there by Turner, but he'll be tackled shy of the 1st down. And a decision for interim head coach Nate Dreiling.
I'll tell you what, you know, they sat back and they had Royal one-on-one on the outside.
Ryan
Tyrese Whitaker.
Yeah, you're right. Ryan Marks being sent out here to punt. Marks was terrific in the 1st half. Pin Temple inside their 5, and it's a fake, but a flag is thrown, and this will wipe out a huge play for Utah State.
False start. 25. Offense.
A little too anxious.
Penalty. 4th down.
Oh, they had it called up perfectly, but a flinch and a quick start wipes out the special teams play.
They set the game clock to 5:22.
Boy, there was nobody from Philly to Logan, Utah on that play. Dreiling knows they missed a golden opportunity, and now a flinch by the protector, but the ball was not whistled in play yet, so that will not hurt the Aggies. Fair catch signaled for at the 5. Man, how about the day today for Ryan Marks? No score here in this 3rd quarter. Utah State, nothing's changed from half. We went into the locker room, Utah State leading by 4, and here we are halfway through this 3rd quarter. No change. The Aggies on the road leading by 4, but boy, Barrett, a missed opportunity for Utah State on what they had dialed up with this fake punt.
It was all the way wide open. Look at the 2 guys on the outside. They flinch right there. They're just running guys off. That's all they have to do is run guys off. And he's wide open on the backside. That's an instant 1st down. He might even scored a touchdown. But instead, they waste a perfectly good punt fake on being too anxious.
We started this show talking about the inconsistencies that have plagued these 2 teams for the first 3 weeks, and little things like that.
I'll tell you a quick story after this play.
Simon to the air, throws low, and it's incomplete.
Right. Well, hey, I was on PAT, and we're playing against New England. It was the year, you know, we were supposed to be in the Super Bowl with the Eagles. And long story before, because we beat the Eagles, but long story long, I flinched on a PAT, and it was right into going to halftime. And I flew up the stairs, ran away, and they said that Coach Cowher was chasing me, knocking guys, pushed Hines Ward out the way, almost stepped on, you know, Bussy and everything.
Jet sweep action as they give it to John Adams, and he is greeted rather rudely by Jordan Vincent. Who's faster, Cowher or you? Did you get away?
I got away until we got all the way up there, and then he just led into me. Oh, my goodness.
There was no hiding for you on that.
No, he almost knocked Joey Porter down, Troy Polamalu, and he called me Pork Chop. Pork Chop! That's terrible, Pork Chop! I'm like, oh, my goodness. In front of everybody, too.
Third down and 7. 3 receivers to the right. Allen to the bottom of the screen. Straight drop. Simon with some air. Receiver in the slot. Makes the catch. It's a foot race. Dante Wright, who's been limited for 6. 91 yards.
We've been calling his name all day. Dante Wright, their big play receiver.
There is a flag down back where Simon let her fly.
The result of the play is a touchdown. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 9, defense. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
We've been talking about Dante Wright not being a factor. He's been returning punts. But on offense, he's been a non-factor. He has to be the guy for big plays. He has to be the guy that they looked for scoring opportunities.
Temple did not have the right personnel. They only had 10 guys out there. Utah State is going to bring their substitution in as well. This has been a wild one today. It's been a lot of fun. Temple enjoying their first lead.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still play the try.
And because of that quick strike, that 91-yarder, it caught one of the Owl players on special teams, protection unit. Not quite ready to get in there, and Dante Wright, who's been on a limited pitch count, if you will, today, making the most of his reps with that big one, the explosive play that really has been absent through the first 3 weeks.
You need it, call on number 5.
Trujillo with the point after, and for the first time today, Temple has the lead. The longest touchdown pass since 2019 for the Owls. Dante Wright, who entered today the conference leader in receptions, top 10 in the country, adds 91 big ones to that total. Dante Wright, second year in Philadelphia, the Colorado State transfer, entering today, leading the American Athletic Conference, nearly 8 catches per game, but he's been limited with an injury, and they have really cut down his reps. He's only been targeted twice today, but just a few moments ago, 91 yards, the connection, Simon to Wright, and Temple for the very first time leading Utah State. Trujillo will send this kick through the end zone for the touchback. Barrett, let's go back to the touchdown throw.
Yeah, you look, they're going to bracket. Coach Droding, the defensive coordinator and head coach, knows that he's the big play guy. So what do? They're going to bracket him. They're going to send 2 people his way. But watch how Wright's able to undercut and get up and get over the top of him, the 9 route, and then it's just straight speed.
First and 10.
After that, touchdown, 91 yards. Very explosive player. I was wondering when it was going to happen. I told you he was a big play threat, and he goes to show he is a really good player when given the opportunity.
Freshman All-American back in 2019 in the Mountain West Conference for Colorado State.
Unbelievable. And how about this? Temple is up in the 3rd quarter. Hadn't happened all year.
These 2 coaches talked about the urgency of this game. In fact, Nate Dreiling called it a Super Bowl for Utah State, knowing that it's nothing but Mountain West after today. Chance for this team to build off a couple of rough weeks against top 20 opponents. Petrus is going to dump it off at the last second. Sturzer unable to reel it in. Covered by Osweke, who's back in there.
Great adjustment on the outside. They brought the blitz from the right side of the offense. But then everybody stayed with their responsibility, which allowed them to get the quarterback to pull the ball down.
This play has been effective, and there goes Faison. Double-digit yards up to the 42. You pull those linemen from that left side. That has been the play today for Utah State.
Faison said, just let me ride. Just, you don't have to block him too hard. Just be in front of him. I'll set everything up. And that's how he's played this game.
Yeah, you got to believe it's going to be a steady dose now of number 3. This has been the player that Temple has not been able to stop today.
Yeah, you run him, and then all of a sudden over the top, what do you see? A wide open Jalen Royals.
Second down, Petrus, pressure from the backside. He's caught, sacked, ball pops loose, picked up by the big fella as it was scooped up by Maui. As Petrus got hit, ball jarred. Trey Thomas.
Trey Thomas has some pass rushing ability. He just keeps going. Drops the ball. And that's almost a lineman's, dream. Pick up a fumble and run with it, unless you gave up the sack.
Lili Maui knew exactly what to do with it. That's run north-south. Sets up a manageable 3rd down and 2. Aggies dodge a huge bullet there.
I picked up a fumble. I'll never do it again. I didn't do it after that.
Power football bouncing wide. Faison, 1st down yard and more, and just stiff-arming Keaton as the 2 went out. There is a flag down in the Utah State backfield, the vicinity of a hold.
Holding, 56, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
Holding call. So much confidence in Faison and his ability to just, make adjustments on the run. Give his team an opportunity to get the 1st down, even on 3rd and long.
Utah State has put up gaudy numbers in this one. They're closing in on 400 yards of total offense. Faison has rushed for 154. Royals has over 100 receiving yards, but they're going to look back. They've had some missed opportunities, just 2 of 4 in the red zone. A missed field goal. Now a costly penalty, 3rd down and 12. Petrus will try to bail him out, and it's incomplete. Blanket coverage. He was looking for Bowman, but just no room. Jamel Johnson, the junior corner out of Covington, Georgia, with the coverage.
He played off coverage, even though it was man-to-man, but he knew that was what they were trying to do. He read that, he understood. I'm one-on-one on the backside, man-to-man, and I got this. They ran a go route and thought that they could back shoulder it. Coverage too tight, had to throw the ball away.
Caught suddenly on the punt. Big leg from the Melbourne, Australia native. And a fair catch by Wright at the 19. 22-yard punt. Temple in this offense getting ready to go back to work. And it was that combination, Simon to Wright, that got this crowd excited last time they were on the field.
Yeah, but they had to go in and reestablish that run. So this will be a big drive, I think, for Antoine Littleton. They got to reestablish that run, give them an opportunity to run play action and get the ball over the defense's head.
Nursing an injury, a late week injury, and you see the workload has been cut down dramatically. Just the 2 targets, but making an impact with that 91-yard touchdown. Simon will keep it. Torpedoes his way past the 20 up to the 22-yard line.
Both teams love to run this little trap play. One uses the quarterback, and Simmons and Petrus just hands it off to Faison when they run it on their side. Trap inside run play become a staple for both teams.
Pesca in motion. He's had a good day leading this Temple receiving corps with 4 catches. Bouncing wide to the outside. 1st down yardage. Up past the 40 to the 44. Explosion from Therese Worthy, who they normally only use in the return game.
Yeah, they use the return game. They also use him on 3rd down situations because this is what the speed that he has. He gets out to the outside corner This was an inside zone play, but his speed and the way he ran it, he bolted to the outside, allowed him to get to the outside, and blocking was pretty good on it.
20 yards for the junior. Lackawanna Junior College. First down at the 43. Simon right back to Worthy with it, and not much that time. Utah State had a number of defenders. Iniguez, along with their inside linebacker John Ross May.
Yeah, that's what you get when you have Therese Worthy. That's when you want the big back in there. Littleton, take it downhill, take some tacklers with him.
That will be the final play of this third quarter. Not a lot of offense, but the only offense we saw, fireworks, and it came from Temple. The Owls, for the first time this year, marched to the fourth with the lead. Boy, another beautiful football Saturday in Philadelphia. The Museum of Art. Yeah, the rocky stairs. Barrett and I might be paying a visit to those stairs. I want to see that Bill Cowher speed, that breakaway speed that you were talking about. And Temple trying to throw the Rocky Balboa knockout punch to their visitors from Logan, Utah, as we welcome you back inside Lincoln Financial Field alongside Super Bowl champ Barrett Brooks, Sean Kinney. Second down and 9 for the Owls as they start this fourth quarter from their own 44-yard line. Evan Simon over the middle, pass is caught. A dart up to the Utah State 42 and a first down for the Owls. Ashton Allen with his first catch, and there is an injured Aggie down, and that's Clive Washington. Key part of this defense, one of the linebackers that they brought in from the Big Ten, Purdue transfer.
Yeah, he's one of the staples in the middle of that defense, captain, and they need him out there. He kind of solidifies everything in the middle of that defense, calls the defense. They need to find somebody who can come in and replace him.
This linebacking core really took a hit after spring ball as they lost some players to the portal, so they went out. They brought in John Ross May from Lenore-Rhine, Washington from Purdue, and then John Miller coming in from Oregon State. A lot of experience. That's what they were trying to fill those voids with. Set up that little screen action, slipping free from one. This is Antonio Jones giving ground and chased down. Jaden Francois with the pursuit.
Yeah, this is where, you really don't want to get too fancy, too cute. Sometimes you just got to take it, put Littleton in, and run in between those tackles. That way you set up the big play. It wasn't a mystery why they were able to get over the top of the defense. It's because you set up the run and, had those linebackers biting up and gave the ability to run behind them.
Slow start for Simon. A lot of that had to do with field position. 1 of 8 to start this game since 10 of 13. 167 yards in his second week of starting action. Fires downfield, and it is caught. Oh my! Dante Wright took it right away from J.D. Drew.
Yeah, he runs a little corner route, climbs up the stuff of the defense, and then look, the corner played it right. He stepped over it, but then he just muscles it, catches it at his highest point, and comes down with the rock.
23 yards in the completion to Wright.
That's their spark plug.
He has come up clutch here in this second half. J.D. Drew, the sophomore from Tulsa, had that one right in his hands. Temple with a good-looking drive. Little end-around action as they flip it. Trying to get the speedster Allen with some room. Good job there with the angles by Utah State.
He's a long strider, so you really want to get him the ball in his hands over the top of the defense. Those plays are hard for him to run.
Temple going a little bit faster. They hand the ball off over that right guard for 3. Pile moving ahead. And a third down for the Owls. And, third downs were not their ally in the first half. And all of a sudden here on this drive. Utah State and this defense can't get off the field.
Well, Sean, you hit it on the nose. You know, when you said field position, they have great field position. They've been, you know, in the middle of the field for the better part of the second half. First half, I mean, especially the first quarter, the average start position was the 3-yard line, their own territory.
Resworthy flanking Simon to his left. 3rd down and 4. Low snap. Simon digs it out. Has time over the middle. Caught. Touchdown. The tight end. David Evert, who they haven't looked too much this season, with the touchdown grab.
Love the play. You want to attack the seams when you have the best coverage guys on the outside. Attack in the middle, the seam routes in the middle of the field. It gives you that opportunity to really, you know, slow it down and just run that little one-on-one in the middle of the field for a touchdown. Great pass by Simon.
Evan Simon continues to solidify himself as this team's starting quarterback. Had a really good second half a week ago. He's turned it on in the second half today. His 3rd touchdown pass. Temple with their largest lead. $14 unanswered by Temple in the second half. The Owls with their largest lead, 31-21 over Utah State. Evan Simon, 13 of 23, the 3 touchdown passes, 217 yards, and let's not forget his contributions as a running quarterback today.
I think that's what really turned him over the top, because now you have to worry about his legs, and he's showing that he has arm talent also.
45 yards rushing for Simon, and a good chunk of those yards on 3rd down runs, keeping drives alive. So Utah State on the ropes a little bit here. Freeman from the goal line, explosive return man, Robert Freeman, weaving his way past the 25 up to the 26-yard line. So Barrett, when you look at this situation, if you're an Aggie, obviously one of the fastest offenses in the country, so 12 minutes of football is an eternity of time as you see the attention given to one of the Owls on that coverage. But what do you want to see from Utah State right now?
Well, I mean, it's almost like I'm looking at my crystal ball and seeing a heavy dose of Royal, a heavy dose of them. You know, I think they've gotten away from the run the better part of the 3rd quarter, but now you can't really run the ball. You want to go out there and score. They're down by 10 points, so Royal will step up. It'll become the same, like almost like an option route with him. Either going to run a screen play to him, or the guy that's supposed to block for him going to run a little go route after he fakes like he's going to block, and it's going to open up. So I think that's what they're going to try to run from this point on. Oh, you hate to see this.
Zaleel Powell on the special teams coverage being helped off for Temple. Backup free safety, the redshirt freshman out of Jersey City. So Utah State this offseason went into the transfer portal, and moments like this is why you bring in a guy like Spencer Petras. A little confusion there in that read option as it looked like Petras wanted to pull it back. Faison was not budging. He gets 2, 2nd and 8.
I'll tell you what, King has definitely stepped up and is fully embracing into that jack linebacker position.
2 straight carries. Faison trying to change direction, getting ground, stiff arms one defender, and there was simply nowhere to go. There were Owls all over the place, chasing him down. Again, Cameron Stewart.
You know, you look at the defensive line, they're playing on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage now. They're getting up the field, creating penetration. Penetration kills all run plays. And these guys are excited. They're out hunting. It is really giving them an opportunity to take this game over.
They bring in the extra nickel back. They rush 4. Petrus, 3rd and a mile, has to check down. White makes the catch, and a 3-and-out for Utah State. Jalen Lewis and this Temple Owl defense flying to the football for their coordinator, Everett Withers.
It all started with a 64-yard kick, and from that point on, Temple has not looked back. They look confident right now. They're playing lights out. All you needed was a little bit of hope. And from this point on, they've been playing like they deserve to be on the field with this Utah State team.
See the frustration on the face of Petrus. Got Sunley on the punt. Spinning kick. This is right from his own 38. Dante right across midfield. Whistled out of bounds at the 43. It's a return of 18. Temple back onto the field. This Owl offense hungry for their first win. Temple closing in on their first win of the season, and a big reason was that young man right there, Maddox Trujillo, right before halftime. Barrett, this turned out to be the key play thus far.
No question. It turned the tide on how this Temple Owls teams thought about how they're going to approach this game. From this point on, they played lights out. They went out there and played in a manner that they belong on the field, and they're better than this Utah State team. Utah State had controlled the whole first half until that kick. And from that point on, they have changed their whole mindset. Everybody got a spark from just how this young man has changed the trajectory of this game from that point on.
Our player of the game brought to you by Memphis Tourism, proud partner of the American. The 64-yard field goal, not only a Lincoln Financial Field record, but also a Temple record, shattering the old mark by 8 yards. Worthy, and you can just sense that this offensive line starting to get a little bit more push, a little bit of an identity with this offense, rotating these running backs. They're changing of pace and styles that they all bring to this.
Look at that, you know, the left side, the young left side, Barrias, King coming off the ball, showing they belong to be starting. And it's going to be hard at this point on, especially with the caliber opponents that they're going to have this going forward. They got a short week going against this Army team, but right now, they're showing that, hey, we are here. This Temple team is confident. They have a lot. They have a lot that they can offer.
Second down, Worthy again. Iniguez wrapped up. Worthy folds ahead. May finish the job.
Third and manageable. They can work with this. That offensive line is controlling the game. Look at the big fellas up front. They love getting it lathered up. Keep running the ball, coach. That's what they're screaming. Keep running the ball, coach. They bring in another tight end. This receiver goes out.
Yeah, this offensive line through the years for Temple, since 2022, they have started 19 different offensive line combinations.
That's not what you want to do.
No, it's not. They are hoping they have found their 5. Third down. Up the middle they go, and a first down carry for Antwain Littleton.
And the most demoralizing thing you can do to a defense is run the ball, and they can do nothing about it. You can see the wind leaving the sail of this Utah State defense. The Aggies at this point can't stop the bleeding because this offensive line is starting to get hyped. They're starting to come off the ball. They're starting to think, all right, we belong out here. We are dominating you, and that's what they're doing.
Fresh set of downs from the 25-yard line, and they run that little end around to Dante Wright. It's a play that went for good yardage earlier in the contest. Much better job defensively. DJ Graham, the Oklahoma transfer, stayed at home.
And right behind big Eric King on that play, he gets the block that at least allows him to get to the outside. A 4-yard run is good. You keep the chains moving with that. 3-4-yard runs, you have a first down. It's the little things that this Temple team is learning right now.
Worthy back in the game. Utah State brings a linebacker blitz. Simon runs right by it. Good job there by Clive Washington. Saw Washington leave the game a few moments ago. Good to see the Purdue transfer back in there. You can still see him when protecting that left side of his body, that upper body.
Yeah, but he knows he has to get out there. You know, he's a team leader. They're looking to him. He's not giving up, so this defense won't give up. It's a very coachable moment for this offense of Temple. They're going to use this going forward. Look, guys, this is the way that we have to play. This is the demeanor we have to play. Hard-nosed football.
2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. 3rd down and 4. Simon is going to throw. Pressure comes out of the backfield. Making the catch. It is Littleton. He lost the football, but it goes out of bounds. Quite a collision near the goal line. That's the same play they scored on back in the first half, and Littleton cracked lids with one of the Aggie defenders.
It's a lot of people down right now. It's an offensive lineman down. Ooh.
DJ Graham, the touchdown saving tackle, his shoulder pad jarring the ball free, but unfortunately, if you're Utah State, it went right out of bounds along the sideline. That's Melvin Siani, their starting right tackle, who is down on his back. And a young man, a redshirt freshman out of Ontario, Canada, part of the international flair that Temple has on their roster this year.
Yeah, he did the splits, man. That's tough.
Rolling on the field is a fumble forward out of bounds. The fumble was at the 2-yard line. We'll come back to there. That results in a first down. They set the clock at 6:24.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he has to go out, at least for one play.
On my signal.
Or did they call timeout on the play?
Good to see Siani walking around.
Yeah, it is rather interesting. You know, so many guys from different countries playing on this team.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
quite a wide range. Smile on the face of Stan Drayton.
He hasn't done that in a while, you know, so it's good to see him smiling. He's always an upbeat coach, though.
Joquez Smith, the running back. For the first time today, they work out of the traditional I formation. Fullback goes up to the line of scrimmage. Simon rolls right, throws it up, and it's caught in the back of the end zone. Welcome back, Peter Clark. Has had their day today with Simon.
I mean, no question. They love that Clark to come back today. They were talking about him. He's definitely a spark plug for this team. One of the elder statesmen of the team. Goes in, gets a touchdown. I mean, all three guys have came in and really contributed to this win. Well, at this point, winning at this point.
Peter Clark is a great big man. They're thinking maybe one day he'll be an offensive lineman. Right now he says, nah, I have hands. Great catch by Clark. Temple extends the lead. You talk about a football game doing a complete 180. That's what we have seen in this second half. Temple has turned the tide on Utah State. Right now, Nate Dreiling and company reeling a long way from home. Down 17, still 6 minutes to go. A Utah State offense that was cooking in the first half. 315 yards, Barrett. And here in the second half, just 64. What has Temple been able to do to change their fortunes?
It's not just the mindset, but number one, the penetration that they're getting. They changed the defensive scheme. No more two-gapping. They're getting penetration up the field. They're playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, which is allowing them to put pressure on the running game. They're forcing the running backs to start and stop. When you do that, they don't have that consistency of getting up the field. They have to turn, stop, and they're allowing the recruit, you know, the rest of the guys to come up and help with tackling the running back. They did a lot there were a lot of missed tackles the first half. Now they're starting to, you know, get these tackles, wrap up, and this is very effective against this Utah State offense.
Petrus from the 25 will go to work, comes near side. This is Jalen Royals, career day for Royals. That is his 10th reception this afternoon. His previous high was 8 catches a season ago against San Diego State. Temple will give up those underneath routes all day now. Over the middle, and what a catch. That is Jack Hestera, the transfer from Charlotte.
Yeah, but you know what? As a defender, watch Petrez. He's telegraphing where the ball is going to go, and those linebackers start dropping off. They might get a pick here and there because he is looking so much at where he's going with the ball.
Deep ball looking for Royals. He was in a battle royal along the sideline, and a flag comes in. They took a shot. Jamel Johnson, who's played a whale of a game today. Too much hand fighting with Royals.
Yeah, you know, got a little touchy-feely on that. And, you know, even though he turned around, looked for the ball, he still had too much.
Interference, number 20, defense. That's a penalty. Automatic first down.
There was still too much contact from behind on the play. You know, as a young guy, you know where they're going with the ball. You know that Royals going to get the ball. You got to stay disciplined with your technique and know where the ball is going in his offense.
See the day that Royals has enjoyed. They go empty set over the middle. Kyrese White has made a living with this route this afternoon. He picks up 11 more yards. So here we are, a little under a minute into this drive, and Utah State knocking on the doorstep. 1st and 10 at the Temple 28. Petrus has time. Hateris open, touchdown. Jack Hestera, and the Aggies march it right down the field. They say don't go anywhere yet.
Yeah, it's still a game. You know, that was a miscommunication by the defense of the Owls. Caught him in between, you know, somebody was running zone and cover 2, and you know, when you get a 9 route or a go route on the outside, you got to latch on to him, and they didn't latch on. Twin Johnson didn't latch on to him on the play. He expected help over the top.
They will go for 2. They'll bring in that extra offensive lineman. Petrus dodging bullets. Flag thrown back of the end zone. Caught. There is a flag down. Petrus right now has cut this to single digits at the 2-pointer stance. It's been a busy day for this officiating crew and Edwin Lee.
They're making their money today, definitely.
There's no foul for illegal formation. Result of play. 2-point try.
So the 2-pointer stands. Utah State, 4 plays, 75 yards. White with the grab for the 2, and Barrett only took 71 seconds.
You know, when you're talking about a high-powered offense, they're used to playing in this 2-minute because that's what they do on a regular. So, you know, it's nothing for them to score a lot of points and a lot of points fast. Now, this is where Temple has to really be disciplined and run 4-minute football. 4-minute football is when you put an extra tight end in and you maybe run the ball consistently, picking up first down and just running this clock out. There's 4 minutes and 51 seconds left on the clock. How then do you keep that offense off the field? By keeping your offense on the field. You got to keep those guys out there. You got to run the ball. You can't be denied on running the ball and staying consistent. Stay disciplined what you do, and they'll be fine.
Back-to-back weeks with a touchdown for the Charlotte transfer, Jack Hestera. Temple has brought out their hands unit just in case. Utah State still with lots of time. Let's see what Nimrod elects to do. They have 4 wide right, 4 wide left, and 2 players right behind Nimrod, and it is that onside attempt. And it scooped up. It did not go the 10 yards. Temple picked it up and nearly took it to the house. Antonio Jones says, thank you very much.
Smart play by Jones, understanding, how to do it. Still a live ball. But watch this. On the outside, look, when you have a 9 route, when you're in zone, this is cover 2. When you have a 9 route, which is a go route on the outside, Johnson has a latch on, to the guy on the outside. But instead, he just lets him run, and that cornerback is supposed to drop back, and that safety has to come over the top. Miscommunication by both guys. They stretched the zone on the left side, which allowed them to go for a touchdown.
Petrus hoping to get another opportunity. One of the new additions to the college football game is the availability of up to 18 tablets per sideline. It's up to the defense now, though, for the Aggies on first down. They will hand the ball off. This is Joquez Smith, and he is lassoed right at the point of attack.
I'll tell you what, all those laptops or whatever you call them down there, it gives them an opportunity to see everything. When I was playing, all we had was 4 sheets of paper and terrible quality pictures that we used to kind of see what was going on. The start of the play, when the play first starts, snap, and then at the end of the play, and then the finish of the play.
And you find out instantly what you did right or what you did wrong.
The whole game is available as soon as the game is over with. That's, microwave society, that is crazy.
12 personnel. Again, it is Smith. Joquez Smith inside the red zone to the 19-yard line. Spires had a hand on him. Temple has certainly turned the tide on third downs today. Utah State forced to burn a timeout. The Owls have converted their last 4 third downs. We'll see if they can make it 5. Don't forget, ESPN Plus is the place to catch all the American Conference action this fall. ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 200 soccer and volleyball matches, including conference championships. Also home to All-American, the weekly show highlighting AAC football, airing every Wednesday at 11 Eastern. For more information and to catch all the action, be sure to sign up today. It's espnplus.com/AAC. Yeah, 1 point, Barrett, in this game. Temple was sitting at 1 of 8 on third downs. They are now sitting at 8 of 14, as we talked about. Third down's been money ball for them here in this second half.
Yeah, they're controlling the offensive line. They're controlling the line of scrimmage, coming off the ball, really dictating tempo. And, it has a lot to do also with their ability for Evan Simmons to really take control of the game and not just passing, but running the ball.
Utah State trying to keep this a 2-possession game. Third down and short. They run it to the right side and getting to the corner. Worthy to the 5, to the pylon. Did he get in?
Speed
touchdown.
Kills.
Late signal, and it comes in for Therese Worthy.
Love the misdirection on this play. You pull the right guard and right tackle around the corner, get everybody running that way, but then you just have speed and Worthy. Gets to the outside. The third down back shows that he can still make things happen. Hits the pylon, touchdown, Temple. Talk about an explosion of offense. Temple saved a little bit. Knee does not hit the ground. It hits the cone first. Touchdown.
Rolling on the field is a touchdown. Previous play is in review.
So with the touchdown, they will take another look upstairs with Roy Reynolds. Therese Worthy showing his speed.
Yeah, you see the guys pulling and then, catch the defense flat-footed. Then Therese with the speed to get on the outside and not be denied.
For Worthy, it is right now, if it sticks, his first career touchdown.
Even if it isn't, it's in a great position, on the 1-yard line, if it isn't.
It's real interesting how this Owl offense has burst really at the seams today against Utah State, but they're doing it with players that not necessarily always find the end zone. The case here possibly with Worthy. We saw The two tight ends, Evert
And Clark.
catch a touchdown pass. Here's our best look right here. Question is that knee out before that ball touched the pylon? And that's what Roy Reynolds is looking at. Again, keep in mind the ruling on the field is a touchdown. So is there enough evidence? This is going to be our best view right here. When does that left knee come down? And when it did touch, had the ball already touched that orange pylon?
I hate to be a ref on that play. That is really, really hard to define what the call is going to be. Really hard. But, you know, I mean, this offense is dictating tempo. The play selection is great. You know, get everybody running one way with the misdirection.
After further review, the runner's knee was down. The ball short of the goal line. It'll be first and goal, Temple.
On the 1 yard line. So, hey, it's almost as though you want them to score so you have, because they're going to take more time off the clock.
Perez Worthy thought he had his first career touchdown.
He's like, put me back in, coach. Feisty Temple out team.
And meanwhile, if you're Utah State, you've been down this road before. Last year, one of the worst defenses in the country. They just had a tough time slowing down opponents. They had that high-powered offense. They've had a tough time in this second half after a pretty good start to this football game.
Great start to the football game. Almost an unstoppable offense, and really didn't allow this Temple offense to do anything.
Maybe a little tush-push right here where it was invented in Philadelphia. It is Simon. He has thrown for 4 touchdowns, and now he has rushed for 1. And maybe the exclamation point for the Owls.
The tush-push. Eagles headed down to New Orleans to play the Saints next week, tomorrow. And here in Lincoln Financial Field, the tush push reappears.
What a day it has been for Evan Simon, just his 4th career start, the transfer from Rutgers. As we go back to the touchdown from Simon and what has turned out to be a career day for this young man.
Yeah, he has a receiver and a running back. Push him into the end zone. And no Jason Kelsey to help.
It was Ashton Allen, the track star, who was lending a helping hand with that push.
Right. It's usually Dallas Goddard helping to push from the backside.
It's really interesting when you look at Evan Simon. His first collegiate start actually took place right here in this venue. At the time, leading Rutgers against Temple. It actually happened to be the same day that E.J. Warner started his first game for the Owls. And now Warner in Houston working the Rice offense. And it appears after a pretty good week against Coastal Carolina and now a really good performance today that he has solidified himself as the #1 guy.
Yeah, it'd be hard to, go in. And you usually don't, lose your position on the field with an injury. But I tell you what, Evan Simon has shown that, he can run this team, and, he's done enough to kind of solidify himself, as a starting quarterback. Although Forrest Brock played okay, it's hard to dethrone a guy that's playing as consistent right now as Simon is.
Utah State. Now keep in mind, the Aggies, the reason they went for that 2-point conversion was to keep it at that 16-point deficit should Temple score. So this is still a 2-possession game. And plenty of time, as we've seen the Aggies do a couple of times today, where they've needed less than 90 seconds to score. Petrus has to settle into the flat in a minimal gain as Herschel Turner is wrestled out of bounds. you know, maybe the defensive star, the MVP today would be Taekwon King.
Yeah, King has been all over the field, you know, running from sideline to sideline, out in coverage, playing halfway in between these guys and really making a difference in the passing game, getting in passing lanes and everything.
This ball knocked away, looking for Royals. Torrey Richardson with the pass breakup.
Yeah, this is going to make sense at least bracket him a little bit. Don't leave him one-on-one on the outside.
Career high 12 tackles today for King. Woodbury and Morton each with double-digit tackles as well. Third down, Petrus floats over the middle. Pass is caught. White with the spinning grab up to the 43.
He has lived in the middle of this field all day today. White is not scared to catch a pass in the middle of this field. He is eating out there right now.
30 yards on the completion to White. First down, Utah State. Petrus dumps it underneath. Otto Tia holding ahead to the 35.
Now you see on the outside, everybody looking at the seams, you know, and they're attacking the seams all day on this play.
Second down, Turner in motion out of the backfield. Petrus with time. This one high, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Torrey Richardson, and that will seal it for Temple.
One-on-one, crossing route. He runs the route for the receiver on this play.
And wouldn't you know it, the first takeaway this season, game number 4 in the final moments to wrap it up for the Owls.
Great play by Richardson. It's tough, you know, on the outside. Runs the crossing route. And, you know, the quarterback actually, he pulls the defender to him. You know, he stares him down and gives the defender enough time to come from about behind and make the play. He's got to lead him just a little bit more on the play, and he allows, you know, Richardson to go up there and get it at the highest point. Royals should have really competed a little more to bring down the ball, but at this point, you know, hey, Temple, things are falling for him. You know, it hadn't been like this the past 3 weeks, but things are starting to fall in line for him. You know, that's exactly what Coach said. You know, Coach said, you know, we're really close. You know, Coach Drayton, we're real close. We're real close. That's all he kept saying is we're real close.
This Temple team entering today a -11 in that turnover margin. Their first takeaway. Smith will run the football up to the 21-yard line. And we hit the 2-minute timeout. Temple 2 minutes away from celebrating their first win this 2024 season. Both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States were adopted and debated right there. Independence Hall here in Philadelphia, the rich history, the nostalgia of this city. As we wind down a Saturday afternoon into the early evening, the Temple Owls behind a dominant and impressive second half, 45-29. They hold serve on Utah State. Second down and 4, Joquez Smith knifes ahead for 2 more. May and Vincent in on the tackle. Aggies will use another timeout. So you take a look, Barrett, at what Temple has coming up and what's so interesting about the way this schedule laid out. They had 3 games over a 13-day stretch with 2 academies. It's the shortest stretch they've had since 2012.
Right, and you're talking about 2 teams that are very, very hard to practice against, very, very hard to get a look with Army and Navy. Both schools, you know, they run the ball, triple option, and it's just not like any other team in college football. So you have to prepare for those guys, and then it's a short week for this Temple team also. So this will be hard for them, but hey, this win right here really is going to jumpstart, I hope, them playing a lot better. You know, once they play more disciplined football, cut down on the turnovers and cut down on on missed assignments and the little things, you know, the intangibles. This team has some athletes that can play.
You know, you mentioned those two areas, the turnovers and the penalties. Well, Temple has played turnover-free football today. 5 penalties, 33 yards. Certainly improvement in those two areas. Utah State will earn their 3rd and final timeout here.
Temple picked up the first down.
So first down, move the sticks. Not even bringing the chains out for a measurement. Nate Dreiling took a tough spot when he was announced the interim head coach on July 2nd. Brought a whole new wave of coaches with him, 10 new coaches on this staff. They hit the transfer portal hard as well. 51 newcomers in all for Utah State. That's the 4th most in the Mountain West. They had 38 transfers.
That's unbelievable. You know, how do you even build a culture in that short amount of time? You know, the mere fact that these kids are competing like this just goes to show, you know, coaches, a good coach, number one, but number two, you know, he brought these guys together. They came in confident and they came in ready to play. I think right now, you know, Temple just shows their culture is already established, and, you know, Coach Drayton have these guys playing, and they now understand that you can't go out there and hurt yourself. You know, you can't go out there and continue to make mistakes. You can't go out there and have penalties and turn the ball over. You know, you play some pretty consistent football. You can play with just about, you know, anybody in their conference.
Year 3 for Stan Drayton. One more knee here by Simon, and that is going to do it. For the first time this year, Temple strikes the wing column as they knock off Utah State. The Owls stay perfect against the Mountain West in their limited matchups. They're now 2-0 all time against the Mountain West since the 1999 season. Drayton picks up the win. The first victory for the Owls since November 4th of last year. Proud moment if you're Temple. Something positive to build on as you move forward into that short week we talked about with Army.
Absolutely. You found a new offensive line that works well together. I mean, you found a quarterback that knows how to run this offense and consistently lead this team. And then you found a kicker that's just unbelievable with a leg that can go forever. So, I mean, to me, it just seems like this team is got a lot of learning to do, but they're definitely at a position where they can definitely compete in this conference.
There is Maddox Trujillo, who had the highlight of the day, the 64-yard field goal right before half. Set the tone in the second half, and it was all Owls as Temple prevails. That's the story from Philly today. For Barrett Brooks, I'm Sean Kinney saying so long from Philadelphia. Once again, your final scores: Temple 45, Utah State 29. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.